Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Nate. Nate is from Seattle in the USA. So let's see what Nate has to say. Enjoy the interview. So tell me, how are you today, Nathan?
I am actually doing really well. It has been a pretty decent day.
Yeah? So tell
Yeah.
me, and where are you based right now?
So I'm over by Seattle, Washington.
Are you based in, raised and born there or not?
No, I actually grew up in a really small town in Minnesota.
Okay.
So actually, I moved all over Minnesota and Michigan, and then we traveled the United States
Mhm.
for a really long time, and that was not fun. Don't recommend that. But yeah, so was a Midwest boy until I was 18. Got really sick of the cold, moved down to Texas for 5 years, and
Uh-huh.
then moved back to Minnesota for a short stint, and then out to Washington for the last 15 years. So,
Oh, wow. So you have some relatives, some family is still in Minnesota, or all of them, they
yes.
are, I still
Yep.
some of them now. I
Yep.
see. And tell me, what do you do for work, for living?
So I work in healthcare, and I'm a project manager for our CPR program for the hospital system.
I see. So walk me through a little bit more about your job.
So basically, we have 13,000 employees who need to get recertified in their basic life support or BLS. And so I help manage making sure that everyone gets their certifications and licensures done. So it's a lot of data entry and a lot of like tracking details. So
I see. Okay. And so before we start our journey within the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself or something that not many people know about you?
hmm, I'm in the process of writing a book called Trauma Warriors, and then I am also working on basically it's kind of like a psychological framework called the decade principle. So helping people resolve reoccurring traumas in their lives.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. Very interesting. And stays to connect with your book as well, or something apart?
So it's all interwoven on how our trauma basically it's like redefining our relationship with trauma. And a lot of times we live under the assumption that once we have gone through a traumatic experience, that has to define how we live our lives, and we adjust our lives to sometimes manage the trauma, but a lot of times we don't manage the trauma manages us. And so it's an interesting piece of work that I'm
Wow. And how long have you been writing your book for?
writing. Oh gosh, we're going on almost a year and a half now.
I
So,
see. Amazing. So through the interview, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your book and also about your life overall, okay?
okay.
Nate, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Yes.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best friend, okay, full of random fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to relax a bit before the first question, okay?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. Right, Nate. So during the interview, if comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, some reason you don't want to answer, always can change, okay? Amazing. First question for you is, what is the happiest day in your life so far and why you consider that?
Mhm. Oof. That is actually a really hmm. So it'd probably be the day that I went out for sushi with my now husband Dylan. It was this small hole in the wall sushi restaurant. Awful place. Don't recommend it. But it was one of those things where I walked in the door, and that was like the first time that I felt butterflies. And he was sitting at the sushi counter, and I can't even explain like just how my heart literally exploded for the first time. Like just yeah. And we ended up having one of the most amazing sushi dinners that was over awful sushi, but because we were together, it was amazing.
Wow. But that was your first date or not? You were together at the time. Was
Yeah.
the very first date. Oh my God.
It was literally love at first sight. And we both fell head over heels. I like sat down next to him, and the first thing I did was just grabbed his leg, and we locked eyes, and we literally did not say anything for probably like 5 minutes. It was just yeah.
Oh
And
wow. And
yeah.
tell me how did your path crossed? If you can share.
So yeah, so I had just come out 2 months earlier. So that was August of 22. I just came out. So I'm still married, best friends with my wife. I have 4 kids. That's a whole long story. That's a completely another interview right there. And I ended up finding him on an app called Growler, and I shot him a good morning text. It was 4:30 in the morning, and he responded right back. And so we had a couple. We were texting back and forth, and at the same time, I was actually live streaming, and it was like 2 days later he joined one of my live streams, and we had really good energy on the live stream, and we had some more private messages and a couple. Then we did have one private video chat, and I was like, we have to get together. Like, I would love to grab coffee or dinner with you and actually see where this goes. And yeah, it was Tuesday, November 15th, and we went for sushi, and I literally almost ran into the door. I was so nervous, and like yeah, it was absolutely beautiful.
Oh my God. So it was November 15th.
Yep.
Just 2 days before my birthday.
Oh,
Oh my God. And it was 2002, you said.
yep.
So through those 2 years that you've been
Almost two
together,
years now.
yeah. Since those time, tell me what's the most beautiful lesson you've learned from him so far?
He is one of the most patient people that I've ever met in my entire life. Um, and how he really looks at trying to see the best in every person that he encounters. Like, you don't find that in a lot of people this day and age. And so it's his kindness. And I think the other lesson is the power of a redo. Of sometimes when you're in a relationship, you're talking to your significant other, and something just doesn't come out right, and it hits the
Wow.
other person. And one of the things that we do in our relationship is we say, do you know what, can we just have a redo? And we look at where we need to go back, where we went off track, and we just try again, and we give the other person the grace to say it again, to try again, and then it's our responsibility to respond differently, and and we have salvaged so many nights and so many conversations, because you know how that is when you're talking to somebody and you can tell we just went off the tracks. This conversation just went and it's one of those things of being able to say, do you know what, I need a redo. Like, this is my fault. I said something wrong. I was impatient, or I wasn't hearing the whole thing. Can I try again? And
Wow.
yeah.
I really like that redoing something. I love that the idea. Actually, it makes sense. It's like a new opportunity for you,
Hmm.
to get something a different way out of it. If you know what I mean.
And what happens is usually a big fight breaks out, or there's this rift that happens, and then it festers for like a day, 3 days, a week. And then after you get
Yeah,
so tired of it festering, it's like, okay, can we talk about this? Then you
yeah.
have 3 to 5 days under your belt of really yucky energy. And
Wow,
there's power in being able to recognize like we need to fix this now, and we need to course correct now, and give each other grace to do that. And yeah.
wow. I love the idea. I'm just thinking right now here. My goodness, I need to start doing that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you can apply that not just in a romantic relationship. You could apply that with
Oh,
a friend, with colleagues, people that is around your life, and it can make a difference.
it is one of the most powerful tools that I personally use. So I worked in also leadership development, and also intuitive coaching. Um, and that has been something that really, it's a game changer. It really gives people the tools to change the trajectory of a relationship, of a conversation.
Yeah.
And I think in our day and age, we need that grace for humanity. And
Abs-
you don't know people's trigger buttons. And that is one thing that I've learned is you can say something in the best of intentions, and you don't know what that other person is going through. You don't know where their past is, or what their political systems or religious or sexual beliefs. There's all these different plot buttons out there. And I think part of what we can do is extend the grace and the love for people to have the power to redo, instead of jumping immediately into cancel culture, jumping immediately into like destroying friendships or breaking off relationship. Because as humanity, we as humans, we need connection and community, but we're in this division state where
Yeah.
as soon as you don't like something that somebody says or they do,
Wow.
it's cut them off and walk away. And that really creates a fracturing in our relationships and a fracturing in our friends.
Very good. I love that. I'm gonna note here in my diary to keep doing it. Next question. Let's do it. Hey Nate, next question is right. What do you think are the best traits for a person to have?
I think one of the best traits is having the ability to be willing to respect other people's core values. And I
Mhm.
think one of the things that we deal with, is expecting other people to match our core values, and then if they don't, we discredit them. And I think that's one of the things, as long as the core values are rooted in love and respect, and it doesn't bring harm to other people, um, there's a lot of openness that we can engage in relationship with.
And when you think about yourself, Nate, when you analyze yourself, what's the best part of being you? What do you like the most about being Nate?
Mm, I would say it's my intuition and my creativity. I love problem solving. Like, there is very few problems that I've encountered that I haven't been able to come up with the solution for.
Mhm.
And I love talking with people, um, and being able to intuitively work, energetically with people, and really see people, go through healing and transformation. Like, if I have that big daddy energy of like, let's just go into new places, and let's find and explore the best versions of ourselves. And it's just that optimism and that positivity. So
And you always been this way?
no, I was actually nonverbal autistic for a very long period of my life. I didn't talk, and I had a lot of social cues that I didn't get. And there were some people who came into my life who gave a lot of mentoring, a lot of help, um, helped me come out of my shell. And it was a crazy experience to have the lights turn on and to be able to like integrate back into society. Like I was a robot that really was antisocial, really stuck in my head. I didn't know how to communicate. This has been a long journey of learning how to get in front of people and how to speak and um, doing things I never thought that I would do in my entire life. And one of my goals was to be on a podcast. So, and you reached out. It's like absolutely the providence and the timing of this stuff that is happening is crazy. So,
Oh my God, what an amazing story. It's great for you when, I think when you start being your true self or behave like, or, follow your intuition, as you said about it, when you start to accept, that you are the person you are, somehow you're going to face the challenge and you're going to, face the way things start coming somehow. The energy
yeah.
starts, come from different directions that you never
Mhm.
expect. It's great. Wow. Well done for you. Very good. Ready for another one?
I am.
Let's do it. Next question. Right, Nate. So before the next question, you're talking about your book in the beginning of the
Yep.
interview that you are, writing your book. It's been for a while now, and you mentioned about trauma. Yeah, about
Mhm.
trauma. It's So, is your book something based on your personal experience? It's something that you relate to the book? How the idea came along, if you can share?
So the concept of trauma warrior came about 5 years ago, when I was going through a lot of having to revisit a lot of personal trauma after my dad died. So both of my parents had undiagnosed mental health issues. My dad had schizophrenia with a little bit of bipolar, and then my mom, she had a traumatic brain injury. She had borderline personality disorder, and then she also had panic disorder. And so, having two parents with the combination of untreated mental health issues created a lot of just basically ongoing trauma, along with a lot of very unfortunate childhood events. And so there's a wide spectrum of personal trauma that I've been through, from physical abuse, sexual abuse, spiritual abuse, emotional abuse. So it's this wide platter that has been handed to me. And I've worked with different therapists and trauma counselors, and I've tried the religious part of going through like deliverance ministry and conversion therapy. So it's just been a lot that has been thrown into this pot. And it was about 5 years ago where my body just had enough. And there was all of this trauma that had been stored and recorded inside of my body. And it was purging itself. And it was like, it's time for you to deal with it. And this is where the concept of a trauma warrior came out. Like it came to me like literally in a vision of I was going through all of this body pain, like physical, tangible pain, along with all of the memories that were coming back. And this voice came to me and said, "You just have to go through the pain." And it was literally the most excruciating pain. It felt like I was going through hell for like a few hours. But all of these memories were coming back, and I had to relive the memory. I had to relive the trauma and everything that was clinging to that particular trauma point. But the thing is, I was still alive. I made it through. Like the trauma, yes, it was painful, but it doesn't dictate where I'm at right now. And in the middle, after I went through all of that whole process, like I saw my trauma warrior, like my inner trauma warrior, and it spoke to me. And he was like, "This is your life mission, is to help bring people through their trauma." And this is, kind of the whole concept of how you redefine your relationship with trauma. And my entire life, people, good, really well-intentioned clinical psychologists and therapists gave me their view of how to deal with trauma, but it never really helped. It never actually helped me get through the issues. It helped me manage, it helped um, temporarily alleviate some of the PTSD, but it never actually got rid of it. And this encounter with my trauma warrior, I woke up and I was a different person, and
Wow.
I looked at life completely differently. And it's been one of those things where I've been working on these different concepts and things that I realized that I had been doing internally that had got me to this point. So it's been an interesting um process, and I had made a lot of progress in my book, and then I came out and I realized that that was a whole nother trauma set. So like I came out and I lost my job literally like 2 weeks later. Both sets of the family kind of like disowned me and my wife. Like we got kicked out of the church. Like it was just like bam, 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 bam.
Wow.
And I had to, I realized like I had to stop and I had to like go through this new set of trauma that I was going through. So
Wow.
it's been interesting. So it's been 18 months since I came out, and then it's been a journey. It has been such an incredible journey, and realizing how many people, it's kind of like you have two sides of the spectrum. You have people who are really supportive if you come out and you have the stability in the family and the community to keep your life going, or your life gets pulled out from underneath you and you kind of have to like start all over again. And
Wow.
so I'm in that camp. Yeah. But yeah.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing. Thank you, Nate. Right. Next question is, what's the best compliment you ever received?
Mm. Thing is probably about how I genuinely love people. People they love being around me because they know they're receiving very authentic connection with me. Like what you see is what you get. Um and I genuinely want to connect to people very holistically, multifaceted. Like I'm not a shallow person. So if you're gonna run with me, you're gonna go into deep places. So and
Wow.
people love the depth and the love.
Amazing. Good. Next question. Let's do it. Hey, Nate from Seattle, the USA. Next question is, what makes you most proud?
Mm. I think probably getting my master's degree in 7 months. That was something that was a challenge. People had told me I would never be able to graduate college, and so I got my bachelor's in 2.5 years, and then I got my master's in 7 months. And so just that was a really like a personal achievement moment for myself.
What was most difficult part for you to get to the end of your master degree?
Uh, Having a concussion and then getting COVID like back to back. Um, there was a part of me that I really wanted to quit. Like it felt like the entire world came against me as soon as I decided that I was going to get my master's degree. It was just like bam, bam, bam. Things just started popping up, and And it's like I had to sit with myself and say, like, I made this decision to do it, and I'm going to follow through with it. So a
It's,
lot of hard work and very late nights, and I wrote I wrote almost every one of my papers with my little baby in my arms. She wanted to be with dad while I did school, so I held my little bunny for 7 months as I tried to write papers, and that was a challenge, but that was kind of cute.
oh, sweet, very sweet. Ready for another one? Let's do it. Next question. Next question is, which talent you wish you had?
Mm. Being able to play a sport. I think deep down in my heart, I've always been jealous of somebody like I'm not athletic really at all. Like for whatever, I grew up in a household full of girls. There's issues. Like, I was really never exposed positively to sports. Um, yeah, like there's, I think deep down in my heart, like I would really love to wrestle or do like rugby well, something like those two streams. But I don't know. I've That's the one area where I'm like, "Eh, maybe one of these days." So.
When you think about your childhood memories, yeah, what's the best memory that comes to your mind?
Mm. I used to have lots of animals and like chickens and ducks and goats. And I had these two goats. One was name was Snuffy and the other name was Bambi. And one of my favorite memories was going out every morning and milking the goats. And then I would bring the milk in and I would make homemade goat cheese. And it just, the simplicity of that, like the spring morning and the birds were chirping and you know, I don't know. I'm just I'm just a farm boy at heart.
Wow. And that's your memories always being in Minnesota?
Most of them, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Next question. Let's do it. Right, Nate, before the next question, are you okay to talk about your coming out process?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, when was the moment that you realized that, okay, from now on, I need, to start my truly self. I need to follow my intuition. I need to follow my truly self here. That I'd like
Yeah.
to help people to understand that it's me. That's the right person who I am. Did something happen, or for you, it just felt like naturally you felt it was the right time for you?
So there's a little bit more of a backstory to that. So um I knew I was gay from like the age of 6. Like I I was never interested in women. I never dated in high school. And 6 years old, I have a very vivid memory of being in a sporting goods store and seeing a whole bunch of jock straps and being like, there is something about that I really like. And, but, growing up very conservative Lutheran, small town, being gay was not an option. Like, that was not even something to be considered. And I have a whole bunch of erotic stories that happened like 13, 14 with some very good looking guys that ended up in a crazy, crazy story that I don't know if we can talk about that on here. But maybe you and I can have a private conversation later because it's pretty awesome. And it was very
Right.
evident that this homeboy's gay. And so that really freaked my parents out. They put me in conversion therapy at 15. Very traumatic. Conversion therapy is torture. It is literally the worst thing that you could put a person through. So went through the whole pray the way of the gay and deliverance ministry, conversion therapy. Um, Tried really hard not to be gay. And 23, fast forward to 23, I was going through more deliverance ministry and these two old guys in a back room screaming at me for 4 hours and trying to cast out the gay demon. And I've had more oil dumped on me. You could fry chicken with how much holy oil has been dumped on me to, get rid of all these stuff. And it came out where they were like, okay, you just have to have sex with a woman because that's what you haven't done. And if you have that, like if you get married and do what you're supposed to do as a good Christian, that's going to fix your sexuality. Um, so my with my wife, um, we had started a really good friendship. And from like day one, I was like, okay, I need you to know, like, brother man is messed up. I got issues. Like, from like, that was my opening line. Like, I would love to be friends with you, but I want you to know I got a past. There's a lot of things I'm working through. And she was on a mission trip to India, and she was on the rooftop having some alone time. And God literally spoke to her audibly. What are you going to do if Nate's gay? And that really took her aback. And she thought through it. And I hadn't told her at the point that I had same sex attraction. I had not like gone into any of this. I was going to tell her when she got back to the United States and we could have that conversation face to face. And she told God that she was going to love me the way that Jesus loves me, and she was going to do what she needed to do to love me. And the next morning, I get this email from her, and she was like, "So God told me you're gay. Do we need to talk about anything?" And I'm like, "Girl, whoa, okay, like, yes, we do need to talk about something, but you know, I was going to talk to you like when you got back, but I guess the cat's out the bag." And so even before we started dating, we started having this conversation. And we were both under the assumption that homosexuality is a choice, under that it's due to trauma, that it's due to bad parenting, all of the classic boxes that we have been told why people are gay, versus some people are just gay and that's just how they're wired. And so we went forward with getting married because we were under the framework that, I'm going to work on my trauma, I'm going to do all these things, I'm going to work really hard, I'm going to get married, I'm going to experience what straight life is, and it's going to fix things. And we got to our honeymoon, and it didn't fix things on my end. It was great on her end. And now I'm in this really weird position of like, what do I do? And so I worked really hard for 10 years in our marriage, and we worked hard as a couple. And I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't realize is how much time and effort we have poured into our relationship trying to make this work. And there was so many things I overcame in the last 10 years, trauma and parenting issues and all of these different things. And the thing is, I kept liking men. Like that part never shifted. And so what ended up happening is we went on a family vacation, and it was with her family. And it's this massive family vacation with like 28 people all crammed into these condos. And it's the most awful experience in the world for an introvert. Please, I do not recommend it for any introvert. And I was literally driving to family vacation, and the kids are all talking in the background. And there was this moment where like everything stopped, and like my heart screamed out to the universe. And I can point to the road where this moment happened in my life of like, something has to change. Like, I can't keep living this way. And we got to vacation, and I realized the thing that I wanted a man next to me. Like, even though I have my wife and my family and I love them and I'm committed to them, the part that just missing is I didn't have that man that I truly love. And that was the part of my heart that was just breaking. And so every night I would go out after everyone was in bed. I would just sit underneath the stars. I would just cry, knowing that I had to come out of the closet. Like I had to be authentic with what I needed in my life and my relationship, and recognizing that the pain that it was going to cause my wife, the full recognition of losing my community, all of my friends, the trickle down impact of this was monumental. But I had to come to the place of saying, me being authentic to who I am is more important. And the amount of depression and suicide that goes on inside of the closet is something that is really overwhelming. And it was that Father's Day. Um, I went into my actually this office right here, and I really contemplated, okay, do I just kill myself? Is it better for everyone for me to just remove myself out of the picture? And I had to stop, and I really had. I mean, it was like a 2 hour point where I was like, this is close. Like, I've had depression, I've had low feelings before, but like the calculation that was there, the of realizing like this, and I'm not going to make a mistake. Like if I'm going to go forward with this, I'm going to succeed, kind of thing. And that part scared me of coming to that place. And fast forward, it was like I realized that I can't do this anymore. Like I have a purpose here. Like life has a purpose for me to be here, and and that's me and my wonderful gay self. And it's not like I hid it. It wasn't like I was a true closet gay person. Because please talk with me for 2 minutes, and boo, you know that I'm farting out sprinkles. Like, and it's just it's one of those things where it's like nobody was like shocked when I came out. It was not, nobody was like, oh my gosh, like you straight home, straight heterosexual male, you just flipped to the other team. How did that happen? Like everyone's like been like, we saw it coming. I'm like, yeah, yeah, we get that. So, yeah, I came out over a process. It was like a 2 week process of like with the wife of sitting and talking through it. And it was like finally she just looked at me and she was like, you just really have to decide. Like, are you straight, bi, or gay? Like, you need to make that call. And oh my gosh, that was like the longest 15, it was 15 minutes where I just sat there because I knew once I said these words, you can't take it back.
Yeah.
Like, and if I say I'm straight, okay, that means I'm now on this path. If I say I'm bi, on this path, and if I say I'm a gay, we're here. And
Wow.
it's like I had to go back through my head and really just ask myself, has there ever been an attraction, sexual attraction to a woman? And I'm like, that is the simplest question. Let's answer that question. And I'm like, you know what? I have never been curious. I have never, nope, it's not there. And I was like, okay, I'm gay. And so
Wow.
that launched me onto this path. And now here we are. So,
Thanks for sharing, Nate. I think it's interesting, and it's really good to share the stories because somehow you never know who's watched this interview, and people can associate to you, relate to you, and they can see that if you're able to do that, to turn around and accept the whole situation, and people they can do the same as well. Because I'm sure there are people maybe facing the same challenge or was
yeah,
facing this at the time, and seeing someone talking so open about it, it's about helping and healing at the same time as well, helping people for sure. Great. All right. Next question is, what was the last thing that made you smile genuinely?
mm, last night. Uh, Probably when I was grilling hamburgers and Dylan came out to just be with me, and he wrapped me up in his arms, and he just said that he loved me.
Oh, nice
It,
one.
there's just something about a grill and meat cooking and smoke and a hot hunky man. Well, what more can you
Oh,
ask for?
I can see you smiling again, sharing that. Three questions left. Let's do it. Hey, Nate, next question is, what is your favorite place in the entire world and why?
Mm, Probably my hunting cabin. Like I haven't been there for so long, but it was literally just this piece of heaven. Like it's the small hunting cabin, 220 acres. It's the original homestead that my great grandparents came and
Wow.
settled there. And this cabin is just surrounded by these massive pine trees, and you could hear the wolves howling at night. And
Wow.
there's just something about going and hearing the wind through the trees and just the rusticness and still the northern lights and there's no like light pollution, so you can see just millions of stars. And
Wow.
I don't know, one of the yeah, I miss it. I really miss it a lot.
It's two questions left. Let's do it. Yes, you like dancing, yeah?
Oh yeah.
Right, next question is, if I would ask your best friend right now to define yourself in one positive word and one negative word only, what your best friend would say?
So one best word and one negative word.
Yeah, your best friend would define you in one positive and one negative word only.
um Probably that I am the most genuine person that you would ever encounter, and I'm neurotic. I
Interesting.
I I can latch onto something, and I'm like, oh, a string. Let's find where that string goes. Oh, it's a rope. And I'll start just I'll dig into somebody's life, and I'll go real deep, and I'll find all the little hidden secrets that you thought nobody would ever find.
It's
So
interesting.
I'm
Wow.
really good at I'm kind of like a private investigator into personal emotions. So it's like, oh,
Oh,
why did you say that? What's that connected to? Oh. And so
wow.
I'm really good at following the breadcrumbs of things that you people never thought that they would ever have to talk about or think about again. It's just like it just comes out very naturally. So
Wow. And why is that, Nate? What do you think that people, you have this power or something that people they have, they feel like or somehow they trust to, to open about, to say something
yeah,
about that either that nobody else can do it. What do you think is that?
I think it really comes down to at the core I want to see people healed and set free. I want them to be authentic. And when you have hidden shame, you can never be your authentic self. And it's, I'm willing to get messy in people's lives. I don't run away from people. I've never encountered a situation where I've ran away from a person. I've had people run away from me, but I'm not going to run away. Like, it doesn't matter what it is. I'm willing to sit and I'm willing to take the time. Like, there are people I've taken 7 years and I've waited 7 years to have the conversation with them. Like, the first time I had a cup of coffee with them, I knew exactly the box that we needed to jump into, but I knew that they weren't ready to jump into that box. And
Wow.
so I waited. I waited 7 years with this one guy to have the conversation. And it took 7 years for him to build trust with me, for him to open up. And it was like, here's the journal entry when I first met you of what I noticed and what I recognized.
Oh,
And,
wow.
yeah,
Interesting. All right. Ready for the last question?
I am.
Let's do it. Last question. Yeah. Right before the last question, Nate, when you start writing your book, when you start to put all your personal experience there, when you start to put everything together, um, what do you think? What do you want to people who reads your book, who go through the journey? What would you like them to take with them? What would you like them to, to go like, okay, I'm so glad that I wrote that book that brought me to a better place or a different place that maybe I need to read it. Tell me the message that would you like people to take with them when they read your book.
I think I think there's like three things that really come out. One, people are not alone. No matter what type of trauma that you have encountered, you're not alone in that. And that is one of the things I've realized is it can feel like you're the only person who's experienced this particular type of heartbreak or trauma, and it feels very isolating. And one of the things that I have found, so I've worked with over 4,000 different men over the last 15 years with trauma, and they all feel isolated and alone about whatever particular, especially if there's sexual abuse. A lot of times, if men have been sexually abused, they feel like they are the only one who has experienced this violation. And the thing is, you're not alone. Like, there is a whole brotherhood of people out there who have experienced these same life experiences, and you can recover. Like, you can get your life back, and you can redefine your relationship with trauma. And that brings me into my second point is there is really a powerful sense of ownership when you can say, do you know what? This is the way that I am going to interact with my trauma instead of my trauma interacting with me. And, being able to say, like, I'm going to live my life powerfully, successfully. I am going to write the rules, and trauma has to play by my rules. And because trauma has its own energy to it, it has its own entity, and it loves to make you your like it really loves to rule your life and say you're not going to enjoy that. You're not going to have these relationships. You're not going to be able to be authentic. And when you take your power back as a person and say, just because somebody thought that they could do something to me to redefine who I am, no, 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 no. We don't play that game anymore. And there is just a freedom that comes with that. And I think my third point would be this is a concept that I work in the book on, that there is a positive and a negative imprint of trauma, and we only focus on the negative aspect of trauma, and we never bring the positive part of what that trauma is in our lives. And together, when you bring the positive and the negative together, it's able to resolve itself. You have to be able to sit in the space of seeing the positivity that comes out of that trauma and the negative, and accept both realities. And it's being able to accept both realities that unlocks the brain to be able to say, okay, I can move forward from this. And that's where you have like authentic ownership over your trauma experiences. So
Okay. Last question for you is, what do you like the most about your best friends?
hmm. Well, I'm in the process of finding new best friends because they all left me when I came out. So the best friend application is open. But right now I think it's Dylan. I have Dylan and I have Chelsea. They are my best friends, and they are authentic, they're loyal, they have stuck through some really hard seasons in the last 15 months. And I really just appreciate how the three of us are really working well as a team. We're co-parenting, we're living life together, we're creating our chosen family, and we're starting to have a new group of people come around us, and it's been really powerful. It's been powerful to see that um, other people's hate and disbelief doesn't have to determine our reality.
And I think I'm just, thinking about the situation you are right now about best friends. Imagine the people who will cross your life from now on. That's gonna connect some you somehow. You're gonna find your truly self. Imagine those people that maybe you don't know them yet. They haven't crossed yet, and for
Yeah,
sure, they're gonna cross one point, and you're gonna go like, "Wow, what an amazing experience to have those new people around me, and
yeah,
they learn to be in my life after this. You turn around, you start to be your truly self 100%. And I think that's the people that meant to be in your life, they will come, and they're gonna cherish and always be there for you. It's amazing. Wow. Right, so the yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay, let's start with money.
opportunities,
Love.
chocolate,
Ah, family.
oh,
Life.
that's my answer. Oh,
I know. Life.
complicated, very complicated.
Okay, one word for sex.
Mm. Overrated,
Life.
abundant,
Politics.
jam,
Religion.
well-intentioned but misguided,
Fear.
nightmares,
Friendship.
longing,
One word for desire.
ooh, passion, just
Ooh,
pure passion.
wow. Regrets.
Too many.
Success.
Redefined
Wish.
faith.
One word for happiness.
Mm. Beef stroganoff.
Ah. You know what? I'm in Brazil right now, as I mentioned before. Yeah, and I can't
Yeah.
wait to eat very soon. Can't wait. Right, one word for Minnesota.
Ugh. Old.
God. One word for Seattle.
Ooh. Crowded.
Hmm. One word for USA.
Oh.
Okay. And the last one now, trauma. One word.
Opening.
Opening. Okay. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your partner, Dylan. Eh? You said his name, Dylan. I'm gonna go with him for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him. Since you met Nate, yeah, since he came into your life, tell me the highlights of your life right now since he, stepping in this new journey
Mm.
that you both are sharing.
Probably the consistent love that I bring. Like, there is a lot of consistency and the partnership. Like, we really are good partners. Like, well matched. Like, really, yeah.
Okay, let's play now Nate and the Magic Box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, let's play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Yes.
Right, you can ask me a question now, Nate.
I think, William, what is the thing that the gay community needs the most?
Oh, wow, what a great question. Right, I think in the world right now, Nate, when I think about the LGBTQ plus community, where people, they are more than ever expressing the way they are. I think, nowadays, you can see over social media, people, they are more brave, that, they are able, they feel safe, they think, that's the time to, just be their truly self. But I think, saying that, I think when I see, our community at the same time as well, when I see, through so many interviews that I had here on the show so far, and I had so many like comments about, our community, we are so well connected. Yeah, somehow there's so many support and connection right now over there. But at the same time as well, for one reason or another, there are still some conflicts there because different tribes, different communities in our community as well, could be based in our own egos, could be based in our own way of expressing ourselves, not maybe letting other crowd somehow connect with us or get into us, to be able to share, to be able to explore a little bit more about that as well. So based on my conversation that I had here, and also based on my life or my experiences I had, that we are so well connected. I think all of us, we have this way of embracing the power of being our true self and exploring and sharing our truly being the way we are. But at the same time as well, there are still some crashes in our community. Sadly, there are a few that somehow we need to find a way to understand that we are in the same boat. It doesn't matter which tribe you are, but all those tribes, they are navigating together. And I think, myself as well, we are, sometimes we find a way to not understanding better a different part of the community, and I think we should be more open-minded about that and try to be more acceptance as well, because again, all of us, we are in the same boats. And understand, we are human beings, we have those, things that sometimes you go like, I don't understand that very well. You know what I mean? Yeah, this look.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we look, including myself, we can be like that. But I think, people talking, sharing, and expressing, talking about this topic, it is a way for us to understand that we are all in the same boat. So yeah, I think I think I try every day to watch myself, to watch, and see that reminds me sometimes that we are in the same boat, that you're not here to compete. There are no competition. They're not, we are just trying to get in a place where we can be our true self. It doesn't matter which tribe, doesn't matter how you look like, doesn't matter how you identify yourself, but I think all of us, we could be in the same place. That's how I see that maybe something could be improved. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. That was awesome.
Thank you so much. Thanks for taking the time. And before you go, Nate, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Positively brilliant and brilliantly positive.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. Thanks so much. Regarding to your partner, and you keep in touch, okay? Thanks. It was a pleasure.
Okay?
Okay?
Thank you. Have a
Take
great day.
care. Bye, Nate, and you.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.